Hi, Chris. How are you, man?
I'm good, you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries.
Appreciate it. So, if you want, we can just get right into it. You grew up obviously in a rough area in Montreal, and I was just wondering, it seemed like basketball was your escape from all the hardships and tribulations that you faced. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that?
Obviously, in the neighborhood where I grew up, a lot of poverty, a lot, drugs and, just, crimes and all. It's kind of hard to find something sometimes as a kid to, just get away and all. And basketball did a lot of that for me, just find a peace, still staying out to doing some, sports activity and all. But I think the best thing was just to find something where I could put my mind without having to think about the place where I live and the struggle that I'm dealing with.
Cool. And in terms of the basketball you were playing, it was like mostly pickup, right?
Yeah.
So when you finally got to that sort of structured setting with basketball, was there a moment where you kind of realized we're like, okay, like this could be my life, this could be what I do with my life?
I think that everything's really got serious to me and really like I started realizing when I went to the US for the first time.
Hmm.
Uh, just leaving my family, that was the first time that I was leaving Canada and just, having a scholarship and all that, it kind of made me realize that okay, maybe I had a chance, that maybe it was true. Um, just having another team putting, a scholarship under my name just made me realize that, what, they see potential and that maybe I could do something with it. After that's when they really started to get really serious about, playing basketball and trying to get to the point where I am right now.
Yeah. And so your time at Oregon, can you describe like the differences between playing NCAA ball versus NBA basketball? Like what are the differences in coaching and teammates and camaraderie? Just give us a
Yeah.
little bit of a description on that.
I mean, there's so much when you think about the game from college to the NBA, playing with pros, guys that been in the league for so long. The maturity that you have to need, professionalism. Just like you can't play basketball the same way. There's structures, there's politics, there's so much stuff that you're obviously not accustomed when you're in college. I think in college it depends on what school you are, but usually you're the main guy. Now you go there, there's only 3, 4 guys that are established. You have so much stuff that you gotta figure it out that you gotta kind of adapt to that makes it so different. The speed of the game, the physicality. Yeah, there's so much stuff that changed the game from college. So for me, what I needed to know is how to be a pro. I think that was the toughest thing is just like how to be a professional every day, knowing that even if it doesn't go your way, you still gotta come here and go do work and try to get better every day. That was the biggest learning for me for sure.
Yeah. So when you get to that sort of environment, you do very well at the beginning, and then you get that injury where you're sort of sidelined watching your teammates get drafted. And I'm sure that was just like it's such a horrible thing. It's a tragic, like you're watching that and you feel sort of jealous. You're feeling sort of I could have done better. How did you think that this is where my basketball journey ends, or was this like just another piece of motivation that you would use as fuel to light your fire and do even better?
I'd say it's both. I definitely at first definitely thought it was over. I think that excuse me. I really think that that's something that changed. Every time that I got better during that year, but like when I first got my surgery, obviously I was thinking like, how am I gonna run fast again? How am I gonna be able to jump again? And when you throw your ACL during those first couple months, it feels like you'll never get back. So, I definitely felt that way, but then I also took it as like, you know what, Golden State still gave me a two-way during that year. After I
Mm.
told myself, so I was like, well, there's some hope. Some people that still believe in that I could do something with basketball. So. I used it as something that was gonna force me to get better. Just trying to figure out ways to understand what's going on. I feel like during that time when I got hurt, I was not really as grateful as I could have with basketball. So that kind of made me realize that what, without playing for a couple of months, whatever, how much I really loved the game and how I didn't want to pass by those opportunities just because I was hurt.
Yeah. So speaking on the your time with Golden State, you obviously went from being sort of a mainstay in that starting lineup to somebody who was kind of on the fringes of getting, just 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there on the two-way contract. How that happens to a lot of college players. So how was that shift in your playing style?
Well, I mean, at first it was kind of hard because, like, it's like, well, how come I'm not shooting the ball for eight, 9 times? How come I'm not the main, option right now? And I mean, like I said, when you're young, you kind of feel like, oh, well, you know what? I know better than everybody and all that, but you don't understand the work behind it and the stuff that are going behind the scene that you need to figure it out. So I didn't understand it at first. I thought that, obviously, they didn't understand and whatever. And obviously, I feel like the pro that I am now, I wasn't as pro before, so that definitely didn't help. But um, I just had to figure out ways to, show what I was capable of doing and just understand that it was going to take some time and that you can't just, go all the way and be a starter or play 20 minutes. You're going to have to show it time and time, and one time is not enough. And when I started understanding that, I started putting in the work every day and just understanding that it was gradually going to get to a point where I was going to be able to be on the floor for more than 5 minutes and contribute to a team. And that's something that I felt like took me a little bit of time to understand, but like I said, my journey into the NBA made me realize a lot of things. And being a pro was the biggest thing. Obviously, I think if I was who I am right now and focused like I am right now, um, maybe the process would have went faster. But I also think that it was good for me to go through those steps to understand, how to truly be a professional.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I found that it was sort of a reoccurring theme in your career where you're on this upwards trajectory and you're just doing better despite a lot of adversity against you. And speaking on that, so your Golden State time was, again, we covered that, but then you arrive at Raptors 905 and you do phenomenally. So I really want to know, what were the variables that made you have such a drastic change and get so much success in that little time period? What were the differences between like Golden State and Toronto, like the coaching, the teammates, the development, the fitness? What made you into a better player, and why did it happen here?
Well, I think there's two parts. I think the first part is messing up the first opportunity. Obviously, when they waived me, I could have been out of the league, and I didn't want that. I was like, wow, I didn't even make a whole full year, and I'm out the NBA. And I really took it hard at a point where I was like, well, that can't be how it's supposed to be now with everything that I've done and all that. So, that definitely helped out, but also the fact that I always knew that I was better than what they saw from me and what I showed, but I also felt like I needed to put in a lot of work to myself. So when these two connected, when I started focusing on basketball and trying to be a true professional and put in the work, um, that made me a different player. And then when I went to the 905, obviously I wanted to be on the roster when I first got there, and it didn't happen. They gave me a two-way, so I was in the G League part-time. I told myself, I was like, well, I'm not gonna, I want to make sure that after this year, they don't want to send me to G League, that I shouldn't be playing in the G League. And that's how I see it. And no matter who I was playing or what I had to do, I wanted to make sure that I don't deserve to be here, that I should be in the big league with the big guys. And that's when I really, changed my own personality, my own perspective, seeing the game. Just wanted to make sure that I was gonna get better, treat my body better. My mindset, like I said, that's something that I feel like any athletes, they need that free mind, that free space in their mind to actually play well. And I needed to find that. I needed to find my peace, and when I found it, the coaching. I had Gemma. I always remember it was my head coach from that time. He really gave me that confidence. Told me like, you know what, man, you got the green light. I believe in you, and that also helped me out just because most of my career until I got to Golden State, the coaches were always going to give me that green light. They always felt like, you know what, they believed in what I was able to do, and they knew I was going to make a mistake, but they were still willing to deal with it. So that gave me ultimate confidence in my shots and my game, and I wanted to do so much more, just so everybody knew that I shouldn't be here, and that's exactly what I've done.
Yeah, great. And through that process, I mean, you're coming in contact with so many different coaches, so many different teammates, and people that could really play an important role in your life.
Yeah.
Was there anyone that in specific that kind of helped you through, and guided you through with really good advice and helped you overcome different challenges and kind of get your head right? And then you should be doing this, not this. You should be eating this and not that. Like, was there anybody that kind of was a very key mentor to you?
Yeah, I mean, Ibrahim, I think you met him.
Yeah.
Came to the game when I was really young. Mindset. I kind of, I knew basketball from playing outside in the street, but like, there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have known without him. He did a lot for me, just as making me grow as a person, but in the game too, and just realizing, making me believe that I was able to make it to the NBA and all that. All those stuff came from him. I think he like I said, like I always tell myself, like I'm Christopher, but Chris, it was built by me and him. We both put the pieces to make, who Chris is. And he definitely helped me out a lot. My mom, obviously my mom was always there with me, always telling me to believe in myself. And I mean, the combination of these two definitely helped me out, becoming who I am now. Just not as like just a basketball player, but I've always seen the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's something that I, was raised away, and they helped me to stay that way, where I don't kind of get loose too much. I don't really get too down on myself too much. If I do, then I forget about it real quick and move on to the next thing. And I think that's the mentality that you really need in sports, just because, like I said, the game will go like this, and you just need to
Mhm.
be able to ride the wave and be able to come back as strong as you can the next day if you have to.
Yeah, there are for sure like many ups and downs throughout a career like that, and pretty much anybody's career. And it's really cool to see like the light at the end of the tunnel is a very good reference, I guess. So how important, I guess you kind of explained it a little bit already, but Ibrahim he's kind of been with you your entire career. So, he's many different things, it seems. He's your mentor, he's your friend. How important is his friendship sort of away from the game of basketball to you?
I mean, I think the one thing that it definitely helps is just being able to get the true honesty about the situation, not just in basketball, but in everything. And just knowing that, it comes from somebody that cares, that helps out. Um, obviously, if I do something wrong, it has an impact on him. So I know he will never tell me something that I shouldn't be doing, and that's always good for me to know that, because you don't have, not everybody has a circle where they help them out consistently their whole career and never change on them no matter what happened. And I think that's something that he's been able to do for me, is just being the same person no matter what, how big we got and everything that we got into. And I think that's something that everybody should have, is that one person where no matter what happened in their life, or how big or how small they get, that person will always see them for who they are, and will always give them advice on what they think is good for them, but what for you, not for them.
Yeah, cool. So taking a bit of a turn here, you are playing in an era that is unprecedented in terms of the kind of coverage that you get both on television, on social media, who's talking about you. I mean, it's constant. So, and in some cases, like fans and media alike can be very harsh, very critical of your performances, and in a multitude of different ways on a multitude of different platforms.
Mhm.
Has there ever been a point in your life where the outside noise, let's call it, from social media has really affected your mental health?
To be honest with you, I don't really, I've never really been into what people say. I mean, my whole life they said I couldn't make it, I couldn't play basketball, and so I've heard it so much time where it's just like I'm numb to it.
Yeah.
So social media never really was, I never really care about what people say. So that, it didn't really bother me as much as, I think my second, third year, when I started really getting into the social media and wanted to build my page and wanted to get bigger and be known more. I think that really affected me a little bit more, because now I was reading everything people were saying, and I don't think it was bothering me, but I was just like, wow, that's unbelievable how many people could be talking about you without knowing who you are. And
Yeah.
just off that, I didn't want to feed into that too much, and I saw what it did to other people and all. And obviously, it happens every day. People just retweeting and texting back, and just saying stuff about people and they don't even really know. So I don't really get involved into that much. So it doesn't really affect me. If you tell me in person that we're gonna have a conversation, it might affect me more because we're face to face. But
Yeah.
like who knows is usually 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that thinks that today you're ugly. Like I don't know you and it won't affect me.
Yeah. I mean, see, like, I can't imagine. I mean, I know me personally, I would definitely have a tough time not responding to some of the comments or the tweets or the DMs or whatever it is. Have you ever had that moment where you're like, you know what, like I might just have to hit back at this person for what they're saying?
Oh yeah, I've answered to a couple of people. I mean, if it was consistent where I felt like it's not even like a one tweet. Like sometimes I don't like. Let's say you tweet something, somebody sent it to me. One of my friends sent it. Like, did you see what that person said to me? Okay, whatever he said that. But if it's consistent, like let's say for 10 days in a row where my name is just on every single one of your tweets, which it already happened, then I had to, I started and I'm like, man, I don't know what I did for you. Well, I don't know what I did to bother you that much, but I hope you have a better day and all that. But the one thing I realized about those people that usually do that, when you answer to them, they're usually more like, I didn't believe you would answer. How you doing? I'm your biggest fan, and it turns out to be something else. So sometimes it's to get the attention with sports, but like I said, now that I know those steps where I feel like I took different path um at that problem and had different result, I'm like, well, might as well just not say anything. It's like when you get somebody send you a message, if you don't answer, you leave it on read. Usually they're just talking to themselves eventually.
Yeah. And so with all of this going on, and obviously 20 years ago the player fan relationship was very different, right? Like, it was just, there was no social media, so there was no, you would hear this stuff in person and then you could assume that the rest of the fans in your fan base just naturally loved you. So how do you think the player relationship is today compared to 2 decades ago? Is it better, is it worse, or is it just different?
I mean, I think the love for a team or your player is still the same. For example, I play for Toronto. The Toronto fan love their players. They
Yeah.
love the team. I think that's still there. I think the one thing that changes the things that are involved in the sport now. For example, you could gamble the parlays, and obviously, like some people have 2 teams, 3 teams of about favorite players, and that changed a lot of things now because obviously you don't really love the sport anymore as much. You just love a certain person or a certain bet that you're doing, and that becomes really at a point where a lot of people are just starting to have really issues with somebody for messing up a parlay. For example, if I betted my card for this game and you missed a free throw, I might never want to see you play again, and I'll think that you're
Yeah.
not because you're a pro. They think that you should be able to do that. Well, everybody makes mistakes. You can miss a free throw. It's normal. But then before it was like, okay, we lost the game. Let's think about the next game and we're good. But now it's like, I lost the game. I lost the bet. I lost this. I lost that. They are getting involved as much as you are in the game now. At a point where if you lose, they losing too. And it's not even the sport anymore. It's a lot more involved. So that makes it a little hard. And I think that if it is something that changed between the player and the fan, that's something for sure.
Yeah, and I find that, the media has always had this approach, like specifically around when it's like Toronto Raptors media or Maple Leafs media, whatever it may be. They've always had this approach where they feel as if they're a part of the team in a way, if you know what I mean. And now with sports betting and gambling, you're getting fans who are
Mhm.
acting the same way. So at a certain point, are you just like, you know what? Like, they're not playing, they're not in the NBA, or they're not playing on the Raptors. So what do they know? Like, I imagine it just gets so frustrating at times when you have normal people, just commenting and and sort of acting as if that this is do or die for them as well. Meanwhile, no, it's not their life, it's your life and stuff like
Well,
that.
it's pretty funny if you think about it now about the bet, whatever. But the funny part about this is when you see teams saying, "Oh, I would trade this, and that. I would do this, and that," and you're like, they turn into GMs. Like they would know exactly what piece would go for what team, and sometimes they don't even read about contract. They just think like, "I'll go get Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, LeBron. I'll just put them all on the team." But like, there's contracts in there. There's a lot of different things that you gotta do. What the other team need, and like I said, it's funny sometimes because you're like, you read some tweets and whatever, and you're like, wow, they don't even know what's going on. Like the way that they write in this right now, we're practicing right now. We probably already, let's say for example, for a game we messed up a play and we just messed it up. They are, I would have did this, and that. But like at the end of the day, you don't know what happened in that meeting. You don't know, what I'm saying? But the way you're talking is like you're sitting right beside me when to shoot the ball. So it's it's to me it's funny just because like I like to see people being wrong. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're completely off. And then after that, I just want to see what you're gonna tweet back. Like some people are just able to say something and forget that they said that and just go back to the next thing. And that's just what social media is for you now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel like it can be a good thing when you have such a tight-knit fan base that wants to get into these discussions and they really care about the team that much to a point where they're making their own channel. They're talking about it at the pub, at home, at the dinner table, wherever, at their job. And I think that's a good thing, but then you get the bad side of it
Right.
where, obviously we covered that. Um but yeah, I really want to talk about, so do you think that this mentality that you have
Mhm.
regarding social media, regarding the outside noise, is that unique to you, or do a lot of players sort of share that mentality around the league, at least to players you've spoken to?
Um. Well, I feel like it's. I mean, to me, it's unique, but I feel like you get to a certain point in your career where we all become like this. Like I've seen all the guys that have been for over 5, 10 years in the league, they all become to a point where they just treat it as a regular day. For
Mhm.
example, going to practice, people knowing who they are, whatever. They just end up being like they make it a part of their life so much where it doesn't even seem like they're not used to it, or like for example, that it's different for them. And one thing I've been doing, like I said, it wasn't as easy as it is now because I accepted it. So I accept that I could go somewhere, somebody might know me. I accept that I can't do some stuff, I can't say some stuff. I accept the fact that you know what, there's way more to win than to lose on the position than I am, which is
Mhm.
making me having to be a certain person consistently. And that's something that I had a hard time before because I was like, why can I do this? Why can I do that? I have this, why can I do that? But like whoever you become, it's gonna be, for example, a lot of kids are watching you. A lot of people have seen you like role model. A lot of people, everything you say, they take it seriously. So, um, you have to become the person that you wanted to be, or the person that you're becoming because of what you're doing. And that's something that helped me a long time, a long way. And I feel like a lot of people are becoming like that when they do years in the NBA or in the NFL or whatever. They get to a point where they understand people are watching them. They understand they're a role model, and they just try to do the right thing so people could either become like them or better.
Yeah. And like you said, there's certainly upsides to that. I mean, like your career and everything. But do you ever sort of envy like going like the people who go somewhere and sort of like just live that regular life? Like nobody knows who they are. They can go without getting the paparazzi. They can speak freely. Do you ever sort of envy that, or are you happy with
I mean,
exactly who you are?
I feel like sometimes I envy it because I've lived it before. I played basketball late, so people didn't really know me. They knew me as a tall guy, but I was nobody. So
Yeah.
I had the time to, I had that feeling when nobody knew me, whatever. But also, I feel like, you gotta take the best of both worlds. When nobody knew me, I wanted people to know me. I wanted people to, sometimes say come say hi to me and talk to me. And now that I have it, I don't want to be the guy that's like, yo, well, I hate it. I wish I get back when nobody knew me or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you do get privilege out of everything, and you do
Yeah.
get, like sponsors and all those stuff, like just having a good attitude makes people, around you want to talk to you, want to be around you. And that's something that, I was asking to be before. So I'm not going to, become somebody else now that I have a chance to be what I've always asked to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's just when you get to that stage, it's just how it goes, right? A lot of guys are used to it. I'm sure obviously you're used to it by now. And you're used to the fan love and the fan hate. And I wanted to ask last question about the sort of this whole mentality regarding the fans and the media. How big, we talked about the negative side, but how do you feel when you're in a city, especially as Toronto, with such a strong fan base, with such a very vocal fan base? How do you feel do you respond to the love that you get from the city, from the fans? Does it inspire you? Does it motivate you? Does it
Yeah.
put a lot of pressure on you in a way?
No, I mean, like I said, the one thing I've always did in Toronto, and I mean, that helped me out is like I've always been kind to everybody that I've met. That I don't want them to think that I'm a superior to them. I don't want them like to think that because I play in the NBA or I play for their basketball team that I'm any type of better than them. Obviously, like I make mistake, they make mistake, but I wake up in the morning and we do the same thing. We bleed the same way, and um, I make sure that when I meet people or whatever, like even though like people might see me as a higher standard, I still treat people the same way. And I think that's something that's been helping me out, and that's the reason why I love the Toronto fans because like I said, they are kind. They love their team and whatever, and they just want to be part of their team. Sometimes they just want to say hi. Like you could be walking and they just want to say hi and stop by. They'll probably run into it, and like some people might take it as annoying, but to me, it's like you know what, man. If I made your day by saying hi, then it wasn't that hard. Like, there's those little things that I used to ask for before. Now I'm getting it. Who am I to act like, I'm too big time for it? Or who am I to act like, that guy that just walked into the mall to buy a shirt for his daughter? What's so different from him and me? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when I go to places like that and they say hi, they want to take pictures. I just do it because, like, to me, it's like, you know what, man, if I made your day, one day I won't be playing basketball no more. And maybe my son was going to see somebody that, he's, idolize. And I would want that person to be kind to him, so I want to be that person too.
For sure. And, in a way, I think the fans here have to be extra polite because the weather is so bad a lot of
Yeah.
the time. So, like, how do you, I know like you've been here for a while, but I imagine going from, sunny California to cold and rainy and snowy Toronto was a bit of a shift. What were the
Mhm.
main differences in sort of living in those areas and interacting with the neighborhood and the community? What are some key differences between that environment and here?
Well, for me, what was really amazing for me is like I didn't really see it as a bad thing because I mean obviously I was in the U.S. for a long time. After that, I went from Oregon and all that. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going back to Canada. And going back to Canada was like everything that I've known. I grew up to Canada, so it felt really good to definitely go back to Canada and just having everything that I grew up in. Like everything that I've done around, everything that I know. It felt good to go back and be there and just see my people and really knowing that I'm Canadian first of all, so that definitely changed out a lot of things. And but the temperature, the weather, and all that is still something that you got to get used to.
Yeah. So I want to focus on like the next steps in your career path. So as I said before, there's this trend with your career. Every year you're improving your game individually, and you're helping your teammates out around you. So I just wanted to wonder, what are your personal goals for this season, and where do you see the team really going this year?
I mean, obviously, if you ask me to go, I want to be like, if I come off the bench, I want to be six man. If they wanted me to start, then I want to start. Obviously, whatever level they got me or want to see or have a role they have for me, I want to exceed on that. But I also think that the way that I'm growing my game, the way that I'm seeing the game now and all that, I just want to be able to fit at any position, at any place that you want to put me in. Because at the end of the day, you gotta be versatile. And the way that the game is growing right now, everybody could do almost everything. So I'm trying to be one of those prototypes where I'm able to do everything and help my team in a certain way where you need me on the floor for defense, offense, rebound, or whatever we need. And I think that's something that I'm learning day by day, something that I'm seeing and places where I could get better, but also places where I excel. And I just want to be able to use that at a point where it doesn't become just a saying, you know what I'm saying? I want it to be something that people know about me.
Yeah, for sure. And last question here. On that point, is it a dream to sort of play for Canada and sort of go to FIBA? Is that a long-term goal of yours?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's funny that you're saying that. I was just with Dylan yesterday, and we were just talking about that. How it would be really nice to. I mean, obviously, it would be nice for me and him to play together again from college, but also just to win the Olympics. Obviously they did a really good job, and kudos to them because, like I said, they went there and really made it happen. Obviously it was a long, long, long journey to the Olympics, and they really made it happen. So, what else can we do now besides try to win a medal? And I think that's something that we can do. Obviously, with the team that they have, we have a lot of nice pieces, and a lot of guys didn't even play this year. So, yeah, it could be really special. Working with Silk has been amazing. Just I had a couple months where I was vegan and didn't really know, obviously what I was gonna, I want to have my shake and my proteins and all that, and I didn't really know how I was gonna approach that. And like I said, just a plant-based, dairy-free. That's something that I would say helping me out a lot. Just doing that down to make my smoothie and all that. I think that just to keep having some. You want to make a smoothie, you want to find milk, but you can't drink milk. There's a lot of stuff that I was kind of finding, and obviously you still want to have the milk taste without having milk. So that definitely helped me out. I think that was really special just to have a company like that they would take it seriously about people wanting to taste the same thing that they usually take without having to take it. And Slick did a really good job with that. I mean, I had a photo shoot with them the first time that I tasted, and it was really good. So that felt really amazing to be part of that first plant-based drink.
For the last minute while I got you here, Chris, let's get through some rapid fire questions, just quick answers. Don't feel the need to elaborate if you don't want to. Let's get going. Funniest teammate you ever played with?
It's a good one. I'll say OG Precious, Scotty.
Fair enough. Best player you've played against?
Kevin Durant.
Fair. Yeah, that's also a fair answer. Would you rather do a fun night out or a chill night at home?
Well, right now I'm more of a chill night at home, but fun night is fun too.
Absolutely. Your favorite video game?
Call of Duty.
And then huge dunk or emphatic block?
Well, I got used to. I found some love in dunking, so I'd say dunking now. But block is always amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say blocking is kind of your staple, man. That's
but I'm changing it a little bit more. I'm dunking on people, so it's changing a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty awesome too. And then lastly, you've probably heard this before. MJ or LeBron?
MJ. Love
Awesome.
LeBron. Like I think LeBron did everything and all, but I mean, I'm just gonna wait for him to win another championship, and then I'll let him be the GOAT. But until then, I'm just gonna keep it MJ for now.
Till then, you're in the MJ boat because we'll just wait and see what LeBron does.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on. Much appreciated. It was great talking to you. Great meeting you.
No problem, man. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Thank you.